Single-handedly, I think the most important thing I've done for myself in my adult life so far has been to read as many books as I can in 1 year. There's something about picking up a book, reading through it, gaining knowledge, and feeling like you're leveling up in a certain area of your life, whether it be mindset, your interconnectedness, your spirituality, or even just learning about something that's different that you've never known about before. Back in 2019, I really wanted to challenge myself. I don't remember exactly why, but I had this weird urge to read as many books as I possibly could in 1 year. I didn't really have a direction or a goal. I just knew that if I would do that and I stuck with it, I would grow in a lot of different ways that were unexpected. And it actually turned out to be the most transformative year of my life, other than 2020 with COVID, but that's another story. So when I started at the beginning of the year, I had reached out to a few people that I really looked up to, and I was like, hey, what are your top book recommendations that I could read that you think would change me or help me in some way? And I got a really good list of books, and I continued to read through them. And I think after like the fourth or the fifth book, I was realizing like how much I felt like it was helping me and how much it was changing me as a person. So my schedule at the time, I was working in a restaurant, I was bartending, and I was able to have my mornings to go to a coffee shop. And I made it a priority every single morning to wake up at 7 o'clock, get to the coffee shop at 8 o'clock, and then start reading. And I would read sometimes for 2 to 3 hours a day. And as I was working my way through these books, I was noticing that I was attracting new people. I was attracting new opportunities. I was feeling more confident. I was better at articulating my words. I was learning more things. And I just noticed overall that I was just becoming a better person. About halfway through the year, I think I had accomplished 12 to 15 books. And people were starting to notice that things in me were changing. I had a more positive outlook. I was a lot more relaxed, and I was just a lot better of a person to talk to about just anything. Looking back and reflecting on the past few years, there's no other factor that really changed me in the same way that reading and learning as much as I could did. I picked up books on mindset, spirituality, personal growth, astrology, psychedelics, pretty much everything I could think of in as many different subjects without specifically honing in on one thing, because I wanted my mind to expand as wide as it possibly could. Not necessarily deep yet, I just knew that the wider I could go and the more doors I could open, the more things would be possible and the more I could change. I think we take the importance off of learning when we finish school, and we think that everything is done, and you hop into this system of where you just start working and you're chasing things that everyone else is chasing. But in reality, the actual education starts outside of school when you finish it, whether you want it to or not. You're either going to learn life through the hard lessons, or you're going to be proactive about it, and you're going to learn as many things as you can to increase your skill set, your mindset, and increase your value as a person so you can give back to the world in whatever way you choose to. If you can sit down and you can find a good book that you know has impacted other people before, and you actually take the time to focus and read and absorb it, you'd be surprised at what literally one book alone can do for you in any area of your life, depending on what you read. I know for me personally, my favorite types of books are nonfiction books about mindset and spirituality. And two of the most important books I read in 2019, still to this day, my top two favorite books would be Psycho-Cybernetics, which is all about your mental image and the way you see yourself and your subconscious patterns. And then Untethered Soul, which is basically like the beginning of your spiritual journey if you haven't started it yet. There's so much knowledge and value in this, and it really gives you a new perspective on what spirituality actually is and what's going on with your ego, and ways to start looking at your feelings and emotions and your thoughts and realizing that you're not your thoughts. It was a few months in when I think I realized that as I was reflecting on myself and reflecting on the way that I was interacting with the people that I spent most of my time with, a lot of things were starting to change, and all in good ways. I was coming across as a much more mentally strong person. My way of handling problems was a lot more efficient. I was a lot less reactive to emotional situations, and I felt like overall my entire worldview and the way that I saw things was a lot more positive. I started realizing as I was going through this journey of learning as much as I could about what was going on inside of me that one of the biggest problems that I had faced before that I hadn't realized was I was constantly trying to find happiness and validation from things that were on the outside. Thinking about moving or going to a new state, hanging out with different people, making certain amounts of money. I thought all of these things were going to fix my happiness and make me a better person, but I was failing before to actually get in touch with what was going on inside of me. Reading through these books and understanding myself on a deeper level really helped hone in on what actually makes me happy. This year I'm aiming for 35 books in 2021. I'm going to be spending most of my free time reading pretty much anything and everything that I can whenever I can. I have a lot of interesting topics that I think are going to challenge and change my worldview, and I'm excited to see what they do for me, because if 26 books back in 2019 changed me the way it changed me, I can only imagine what 35 in 2021 with a much more positive, constructive outlook on life is going to do for me. If I could go back and give my younger self any advice, it would definitely be to read as much as possible as soon as possible. I could have advanced my self-growth and my character development so much more if I would have started picking up books at a younger age and trying to fall in love with learning and developing myself as a person. So I'm challenging you. If you're stuck, or you feel like you're ready to move on to the next stage of your life, or you feel like you want to get more in touch with who you are as a person, or just become a better person in general, pick up a book and start reading, even if it's something as simple as 10 pages every single day, no matter what. You'll start developing a habit for reading, and you'll start realizing how much you love it as you feel yourself level up page after page after page. I like to look at reading almost as a video game sometimes. Like every time I turn a page and every time I close a book and finish a book, it's basically like I'm adding XP to myself. I'm leveling up as a person and I'm adding to my experience points. If you have any book recommendations or any comments, feel free to leave them below. I'd love to hear what you think. And stay tuned because I'll be making plenty more videos on books.